This is the Nostalgia Review series, and today's review I'm going to be talking about the Romeo show. Now, I remember watching this show years ago. It's been over like 10 years since the show came out. And I remember watching it, and it was pretty cool. It was a pretty good TV show. This is where Romeo was still called Lil Romeo. Master P was in the show as well. Now in the show, Master P, he's a famous record producer. And Romeo playing the son, and he has a little brother called Gary, and then he has an adoptive brother called Louis, and he's Caucasian. And he has an older sister called Jody. Now, this cast is diverse. This is real diversity. All characters are well written. They all have moments in the series, and they're all relatable. Real diversity. This ain't fake diversity like in today's Hollywood. The way they write certain things, that's foolishness. And then you have the nanny, Mrs. Rogers, which I found her hilarious. She's one of my favorite characters. But overall, I like the premise of the show. Percy Miller, he's the father. He's a record producer, and he's taking care of his kids. His kids, they trying to get a record deal themselves because they're in the music. Even though Master P's character, he prefers them to have a normal life first. They already trying to get a gig. And I like the raps. I know people might find them corny, but I actually was into it, and I still am. I think there's pretty nice rap songs in there that they do on the show. And I like those cartoon segments that they had in season 1. But unfortunately, they stopped doing it after season 1. I'm going to talk about the characters now. These are some good characters. I'm digging them. Romeo, he's the rapper. I always got cornrows in the head, and he got the swag. He know how to play ball. He on the school basketball team in both middle school and high school. Then you got his brother Louis. He's a cool character. He plays on the piano in the group. I remember he trying to be the school's president, and he was trying to be a writer inside the show too. And Gary, he's the DJ. He does what little kids do all the time. And then you got the sister Jody. She's a singer, and she's in high school. She even get ready to graduate, and later on in the series. And I always found it hilarious how she be getting on Romeo. She be roasting him. And I found it hilarious how when she had brought a boy over to the house, old Master P was tripping. I like the values that they have in the show. Some of these characters will make a mistake, and then, Percy Miller would just talk to him, aka Master P. It was some life lessons in the show, even for him. It was some life lesson for him. And I noticed in season 1, most of the time, they were scheming, especially Romeo. Always scheming to try to get a gig, get a record label. And there was a couple episodes when they all did their own thing and stuff. But it was mainly about trying to get the gig. And I like how Mrs. Rogers, even though she was kind of goofy, and I like that about her character. She had a pleasant character. But never judge a book by its cover. She will low-key teach these characters some lessons too. But unfortunately, she wasn't in the other seasons, season 2 and 3. I would also like to say there are videos of the Romeo show on YouTube. Not all of them, but most of them. They have the episodes on there. And I'll be looking at the comment section. That's what I like to do. I just don't like to watch videos. I like to look at the comment sections, interact with people. And I heard that the reason they rid it off the show is because they wanted a more mature cast. And to a degree, I can understand, but at the same time, she was a likable character. And I heard somebody say, well, Angeline was been written in the show so she can marry Percy Miller. How would that work out? And my answer to that is anything is possible. Like, these writers find a way to write around anything in these TV shows, in these movies. I mean, look at the Marvel universe, where apparently Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not in the same universe as the cinematic Marvel universe. And they found ways to bring back characters from the dead and all that. Writers do that all the time. They found loopholes that run around things all the time. She could have been like a family friend. They could have kept her as a family friend. Maybe Percy hooked her up with a house or somewhere. He paid for it. Everything's paid for. They want her to be the family friend and stuff like that. Could have had some episodes when she interacted with Angela. I think they would have got along real good, man. But it is what it is. Angela, she's a pretty cool character too. She's a well-balanced character. And she's extremely attractive. She's a beautiful sister. Percy ended up marrying her around the 3rd episode. And they end up playing Romeo's song that he has on his album called Romeo Land. I found the song out. It's called My Cinderella. I like that song. And that was like the first song I remember in my head when I was on my nostalgia. I wanted to rewatch the show. That was the song that popped up in my head. He ended up changing the lyrics around to talk about Angela and his dad. And then you got Myra. I believe she's like a secondary character. I remember this character growing up, and as a kid, I was always intrigued by the character, especially how she's always going after Romeo. Basically, she's a character that has like a big crush on Romeo. She be shooting her shot at Romeo all the time, which I thought was hilarious. And I'm rewatching this, and I'm like, man, she really has it bad for Romeo. And to me, I always wanted this to be Endgame. Personally, I shipped them. I shipped these two characters. And it turns out the reason why she likes Romeo so much is because basically like a year prior to the show, like when they was in the 6th grade, I think she got made fun of by her hair, and then Romeo said it looked fly to him. And ever since that day, she couldn't stop thinking about him. She started stalking dude. I mean, to the point where he had to get a restraining order. Like, okay, that's pretty freaky there. And by the way, that's the last episode of the 1st season. And that was the last episode I saw after it stopped airing. I think I did see season 2 and season 3. But the last episode I saw after it went out air was season 1. The last episode of it. And Romeo went to go talk to her because he had dissed her hard. Apologized for what he said to her and stuff like that. That's when she was explaining how she felt about him. And he was like, yo, can we just be friends? At first, she protested the idea, but she said, hey, it's a start. Maybe it can grow more than friendship one day. And Romeo was like, nah, I don't know about all that. But to me, I wouldn't mind that. I think it would make a lot of sense for them to get paired up. Like Romeo realizing his feelings for her somewhere down the road. That can be like a good end game. But that's just me. And I noticed in the later seasons, season 2 and 3, she's kind of stops pursuing Romeo. It's like she never had a crush on him or anything. And I'm not saying like stalk the dude and do all the psycho stuff. Like at least every once in a while I try to shoot your shot. I wouldn't mind that. And I almost forgot to mention how when their sister left the band to go pursue a modeling career in season 1, they replaced her with Myra. And I ain't even gonna lie, she got some vocals on her. She can sing. Almost forgot about that. But going back to season 2, it kind of seemed like all that stuff in season 1 never happened. And I noticed that she was around Lewis a lot, which I found weird because Lewis didn't like her. He was protested about her. All of a sudden, he's around her. I don't buy it. And then Lewis, he kind of shoot his shot. He asked Myra on a date, and that was so random. That came out of nowhere. Personally, I wasn't feeling it. And they only went on one date, and after that, I didn't really see any interactions between them that hinted like a romance or anything like that. And he even said so like in the last episode, as soon as I graduate, I'm out of the group, because he wants to pursue other dreams like being a pilot and stuff like that. To fly around the world and travel around the world and meet new girls. That's what he said. And then as soon as they met JoJo, the singer, she was popping in the 2000s. And he was talking about, oh, she's hot. Well, she is. But that tells me that he's not necessarily shipped with Myra, because he's talking about meeting new girls and stuff like that. But I noticed in season 2, it went from less about trying to find a gig, and it was about them doing their own thing. It was about the characters. Romeo doing his own thing, playing basketball and stuff, talking to these girls. Lewis trying to be a writer for the school. Jody, she's preparing herself for the real world, trying to go to college because she's a senior. And then Gary doing his own thing, just doing what he do best. Percy adjusting to the marriage and his family. And we get to see Angeline's character. She works her job. She's trying to establish herself. She doesn't want to be known for just being Percy Miller's wife and stuff. I respect that. And I like the interaction with her being a parent to the kids. She taught them a thing or two when it came to like lessons and stuff like that. Values and lessons. I respect that. And she's the ideal for a wife and a mother. That would be my ideal of a wife and a mother to, potential kids. But in season 3, it really didn't change much. It was basically the same in season 2. And then I mentioned the last episode. The last episode is when they got their big gig, but it was only a solo. So Romeo ended up getting the gig on his own. And he was kind of feeling guilty because he came through with his family. because he was in the group. And they was like, yo, this is not my direction in life anyways. I don't plan on doing this for my life. Yo, that's your dream. And they were supporting it. They end up on Master P and the rest of his family. They end up flying to LA to support Romeo. And Romeo, he got on stage after he met JoJo and he started performing. And that was the end. I mean, I thought the show was pretty cool, man. And I seen a recent interview with Romeo. He's talking about a potential reboot of the Romeo show. And I wouldn't mind a reboot. I wouldn't mind that. I would love to see a reboot of the Romeo show. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm out.